of sexism in politics? If I call her attractive, am I being sexist? I think we have the right to be sexist pigs sometimes. After all, it's unintentional most of the time. Do television news magazines focus more on her physical attributes than her interviewing prowess? She has the look down, but the woman could use a crash course in United States history. Crafty politician, beauty queen, or calculating coquette? Does sexism really exist, or is this a figment of women's imagination? Welcome to Garrard McClendon Live. When it comes to corporate America, academia, and politics, men rule. Or do they really? Does sexism exist, or are women imagining this? Joining me from Tribune Tower is Dr. Dunn Muhammad, an organizational psychology expert, and Dr. Stephane Dunn joins us from Atlanta's Morehouse College. Professors, welcome to Garrard McClendon Live.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate you coming on. You know what? I want to preface this by saying that sexism does not exist, ladies, because I've got two female PhDs on the line today, so you can't convince me that sexism exists. Hey, we're on the eve of the debate of Governor Sarah Palin and Senator Joe Biden. Ladies, let's open things up. I'm going to go with Dr. Dunn Muhammad at Tribune Tower first. Give us a definition of sexism.
Well, sexism means many things to many different people, but from my perspective, it's communicating and perpetuating particular things based on a person's gender. So it includes stereotypes of femininity for females. A good example of that in popular culture would be the movie Meet the Fockers. One of the reasons why it was so funny was because he was a male nurse, and that's traditionally a role assumed that for females.
Let me go to Dr. Dunn. Definition of sexism.
I agree very much with my peer who just outlined how it involves biases and stereotypes, and I would probably include an emphasis on oppression in the sense of discriminating against women in job careers, but it's also attitudes and stereotypes and biases that a lot of times, as we know, actually it's an active term in the sense that we see it acted out in the relations of power, in the workplace, in education, in popular culture, and so forth.
But we're looking at the two white men, Senator Biden and John McCain, Senator McCain. They're basically vying for the big dance, one as a vice president, the other as a president. And we got Barack Obama in the mix, the senator who is African American and Caucasian. But we've got Sarah Palin in the mix. I mean, she's a woman. It's the new millennium. Everything's equal, ladies. Come on now.
I wish I was in Oak Brook because I would stab you, but everything is not.
Join her.
Right. I don't want to be violent, but my criticism with the way she's portrayed. I watched a clip and they referred to her as supermom, sexy, a lioness, feisty. And real, and the last thing they said was that she was smart. So I find it interesting that sexy came before smart. You
know what? Hold tight, Dr. Dunn. I want to go to Dr. Dunn here. Objectifying Sarah Palin. Talk to me, Dr. Dunn.
Well, it's undeniable that that's been happening since the beginning, because more focus, as my esteemed peer just pointed out, has certainly, especially at first, been concentrated on her appearance and weighing her level of attractiveness and so forth. It was later on that we even got to talk about qualifications. So taken was the press and people discussing her, with her legs and so forth and so forth. But we see this played out even in, of course, the treatment of Hillary, or in the representation, and even of sisters like Michelle Obama. Wherein I have heard men on national TV actually spend way more time on her physical appearance, etc., whether it's, negative or bad or what have you. There's way more attention to the hair, to the bodies, to the so-called level of attractiveness of women in the political sphere.
Well, you know, Dr. Dunn, I want to go back to you, Dr. Muhammad, here about some examples of how she's been objectified. But come on, I mean, the woman does have a great set of legs. Talk to me,
you know what?
Dr. Muhammad.
I've never seen her legs. I don't care about her legs, but what I do know is that there were these pictures circulating. If you go to Snopes.com and type in her name, you can find a picture that was photoshopped of Sarah Palin in a bikini holding a rifle, another picture of her kind of leaned up against a counter on a Playboy, a fictitious Playboy cover. Further contributing to the stereotype that she is sexy. I really don't care what she looks like. I care what's in her mind. So I think more emphasis should be focused on what she stands for and everything else instead of how she looks. I have a quote here. I wanted to share this with you. I looked at this clip. It's on feministing.com. And the person said, women want to be her, men want to mate with her. And this is the new feminist ideal.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Wait a minute, stop right there.
I saw that quote. So, you know, and I want to point out, too, that context matters. You asked, I think, in one of your opening leading questions, something about, you were asking questions about whether or not we can talk about this and are we wrong, et cetera. Here's what's wrong with it. It is completely inappropriate, even right now, for you to make comments like that about our leaders, even in the context of having a political discussion in the sphere.
You gotta be kidding me. Dr. Dunn,
when was the last time we had a conversation about George Bush's legs?
Oh.
Donald Rumsfeld's legs, Biden's legs, his suit, etc. We simply, the tension on those different aspects only occur, it seems, when that physical body that we type as female is at play.
Oh, man, Dr. Dunn, hold tight. Dr. Muhammad, hold tight. Hey, up next, your phone calls and the female phenomenon in American politics. 630-575-TALK is my number. Oh, man. Welcome back to Garrard McClendon Live. Let's talk about sexism, baby. I have Dr. Dawn Muhammad at Tribune Tower and Dr. Stephanie Dunn from Morehouse College. Are Sarah Palin's looks and ditzy answers getting in the way? Call me, 630-575-TALK. Garrard McClendon Live is the First Amendment. Dr. Stephanie Dunn, before I go to phones, I'm going to let you finish your comment. You were basically blasting me. Talk to me.
Well, I want to point this out. Instead of talking about the fact that the Feminist Majority Foundation and the National Organization of Women, among others, made an important declaration a couple of weeks ago that they were strongly for the Obama-Biden ticket, right? And the reasons why they were not backing the historic gender ticket, if you will, as the Republicans have tried to sell it. Instead of talking about that, we're talking about her appearance and her legs and the whole thing, and et cetera, instead of raising the questions of why did these two major organizations who have been doing the work against sexism, right, since the early 70s, have made that decision and what they have to say about Sarah Palin. Their voices are basically hidden in the sort of male vanguard and the Republican women's vanguard. On CNN and so forth.
Doctor, I'm going to give you that one, but hey, I've seen George Bush's legs too. He does 3-4 miles on the treadmill. George Bush has a nice set of legs too. I'm going to the phones. Shakina, thank you for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Shakina, what's your comment?
Hi, Gerard.
Hi.
I was calling because I'm a woman, and I don't agree with the fact that there are sexism in this issue. I think that appearance is a part of your first impression, whether you're male or female, and Sarah is clearly a pretty woman.
Okay.
The very first time that I heard about who John McCain chose, when I turned on the TV, the first thing I thought was, wow, she's pretty.
Yeah.
I don't think that is sexism. I think that I just don't think that it's sexism at all. And then when we found out that she was a beauty queen, that just puts more emphasis on it.
Oh, man, Shakina, thank you for your phone call. Shakina is agreeing with her brother. Come on, Dr. Muhammad. Come on, talk to me. I mean, if good looks is an asset, why not use them? Dr. Muhammad, talk to me.
It is an asset, and as a communication professor, I can't argue that perception does matter. But I think that the Republican campaign is banking on that. They're expecting people to side with her. That was Hillary's challenge. She wasn't feminine enough.
Uh-oh.
Sarah Palin exudes sexiness. She's a super mom. She said that she was just like us. She said she was a soccer mom, and I think that that's what they're banking on.
Yeah,
that we're not going to think past the way she looks, and we are.
Dr. Don Muhammad, Dr. Stephanie Dunn, I'm going back to the phones. Donna, talk to me. You're on Garrard McClendon Live. Donna, what's your comment?
First of all, I don't agree with what that doctor is stating. I believe I am a beautiful woman, and if being beautiful can get you in the White House, I would have been in the White House when I was born.
Okay.
Sarah Palin is not qualified to be president, let alone president of the PTA.
Donna, why not?
She can't answer any questions right. She want to be treated like a man, but she don't want to walk in a man's shoes. She needs to answer these questions the way Barack and Biden answer them, and she needs to step up to the plate instead of banking on her looks, because this country is going to hell in a handbasket, and looks ain't got nothing to do with it.
Oh!
She needs to stop banking on her looks. That's how she got through college, I bet.
Donna,
what college did she graduate from?
Oh, Donna.
She's so dumb, she can't answer no questions.
Donna, thanks for the phone call. Garrard McClendon Live is fully in the mix. Dr. Stephanie Dunn in Atlanta, Georgia. Talk to me. The last two ladies said, hey, if you got good looks, use them.
Okay, right. I love that Selena called and made the comment she made, and so I want to make this distinction. It's one thing when on the personal basis I decide that so-and-so is good looking, and in my personal and casual conversation or what have you, about thinking someone's handsome, etc. However, if I am talking about someone who's qualified or not, or I'm thinking about voting for him or her as the next vice president or president, so it is not appropriate for me to be writing in one of the news media or on TV, talking about her appearance and her legs and labeling her as the sexy mom, etc. My business is to what? To do what? Handle what the last caller was addressing. What are her qualifications? And what's happening is that her appearance and the focus on that is confusing our focus on what it should be, which is how she is or is not qualified.
That's right.
Or how she can or cannot, in case we got to deal with the fact that McCain could become, incapacitated. Something could happen.
That's right.
And she would literally be not just the vice president, people.
She'd be the president.
Exactly.
The governor of Alaska would become the president. Hey, we can see Russia from Alaska. I'm going to Terry. Terry, talk to me, Terry. You're on Garrard McClendon Live. What's your comment?
Hey, how you doing today?
Excellent.
Listen, this whole Sarah Palin thing is really irritating to me. I'm listening all the time talking about sexism this, sexism that. The bottom line is this. You are running for vice presidency of the United States. There are going to be some horrific things you're going to see. If you can't deal with the pressure, go hang your dress in the closet. It's that simple.
Wow, Terry.
It's that simple.
Terry has spoken. Thanks, Terry. Hey, keep it right there. Call me, 630-575-TALK. We're talking about double standards and the politics of men and women. Garrard McClendon Live continues. 2 minutes. Boy, I'm telling you, it's getting hot in here tonight. You're watching Garrard McClendon Live. Dr. Don Muhammad and Dr. Stephanie Dunn join me, and we're going to the phones here shortly. I want to say this, though. Look, ladies, I've read Men and Women of the Corporation. I've read The Beauty Myth by Naomi Wolf, how images are used against women. And I also had a personal conversation with the author of The Color Purple about 15 years ago, Alice Walker. She explained the difference between a womanist and a feminist. So I have a sensitive side, but I'm still a chauvinist pig. I'm going to the phones. Therese, you're on Garrard McClendon Live. Therese, what's your comment?
How you doing, Gerard?
Excellent.
I was calling because if anybody is playing the sexist cards, it must be the Republicans.
Yeah.
Because they put her on there. They the ones who did that because they call themselves trying to trick Obama because he didn't pick Hillary. So if anybody playing the sexist card, it's the Republicans. And if we play into that, then that's just like saying, okay, we want them back in the house again.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing qualified about her to put her up in that house except for her looks.
Oh, Therese, thanks for the phone call. Dr. Dunn, is Therese right? Come on now, Dr. Dunn. And then I'm going to you, Dr. Muhammad.
She's absolutely correct. In fact, I would say that the plan backfired. Because really, if we want to we raise the question, who played the gender card first, it really was the Republicans, there were reasons behind choosing her, and a lot of it had to do with gender. And they threw down the first card when they strategically dropped the news about her daughter's teenage pregnancy during the hurricane mess. And then they spun the whole thing as here she is, the model of the super mom who is choosing the right to life.
Oh, man.
Oh, they did this whole sort of maternal.
Oh, you know what?
And it's just backfiring.
You know what, Dr. Dunn? I'm going to go to Dr. Muhammad, but you know what? If Michelle Obama had a teenage daughter that was pregnant, they would say that's ghetto fabulous. I'm going to Dr. Dawn Muhammad. What did you think about Teresa's comment?
Why did you go there? But I agree wholeheartedly with what Teresa is saying. I think it's a calculated plan. Again, she fits the stereotype of the working mother, the soccer mom, the sexy mom. And people refer to her as being the perfect age. I find that very interesting, considered that the McCain camp criticized for Obama for only being 46, which is now 47. But now, hypothetically, if something were to happen to McCain, Lord forbid, not really, then she would take over, and she's the perfect age to take over. So I think that's interesting.
You cut that out, Dr. Dawn Muhammad. We're not wishing any ill on the Republican Party. In fact, I like John McCain. I liked him better when he was really the maverick. Right now, he's the pseudo semi-maverick. I'm going to the phone. Charles. Talk to me, Charles. Garrard McClendon Live. What's up?
Oh, well, first of all, you just made a comment about if it was a black president, or if Obama's wife had a teenage child. I agree that they probably would say that was ghetto. My thing is, when she interviewed with Senator McCain, which was the weekend before the Democratic convention, what questions did he ask her to determine that she was qualified? Because a week later, she asked, when you find out what the vice president does, let me know. So if this lady is a heartbeat away from becoming president, if she can't be a vice president, how can she handle being a president?
Wow. Man, thanks for the phone call, Charles. That's big, man. I mean, you know, when Charlie Gibson said, hey, Sarah, what's the Bush doctrine? And she was like, what? Could I go study that? Charles, thanks for the phone call. We appreciate that. Dr. Dunn, talk to me. I mean, you know.
I think Charles' point is well taken. Stress that one of the problems too is that we know that in the selection of Sarah Palin, there was a whole sort of shortcut, right, to it. There wasn't the usual process and so forth, and that happened in terms of vetting his own, candidate. It didn't happen. And so now it's backfiring because they're basically playing go back to school and catch up and trying to do homeroom recess to do some homework. And I don't think it's not working very well, because it's like you're cramming all this information in the proper way to answer this, that, and the other, and you're trying to do it in record short time, and then throw it out there to the public and hope the public won't notice because they're confused. And they're going to think, oh, Joe Biden is beating up on the little woman on the stage. And I'm really thinking that they were trying to back that corner up. He was bad if he really was beating her too bad, etc. So all of that's in the mix, but it's just really backfiring.
Dr. Dunn, hold tight. Dr. Dawn Muhammad, I got a question from you when we get back after break. Palintology and how women's beauty is used against them. You may comment on my view of Governor Palin. Hit my blog, www.cltv.com/GML. Garrard McClendon Live continues in a moment. Can compliments become embarrassment? Are women at fault? Man, you're watching Garrard McClendon Live. I got one more phone call left, and then I'm going to get some final comments from the doctors. Karen, talk to me. You're on Garrard McClendon Live, Karen.
Hi, how are you?
Excellent.
Good. I just want to make my comment today that it's really sad. The visual is so important, but to use people is what's being done. And Senator Palin is being used to the highest level because of the way she looks, because of the way that she presents herself. And she's definitely somebody that they need to watch really hard because she studies herself, but it's sad to know that they know that she knows nothing. She knows anything. She can't bring anything to the table. And the sad thing of it is that she brings women down for everything that they have worked for.
You know what? You know what, Karen? I'm sorry to cut you off, Karen. If Governor Palin were a man, they would have been dismissed her.
Absolutely, she wouldn't even get to the table. She wouldn't have had nothing to bring.
Wow,
and I believe that they put something over her head anyway to even get her where she is. Absolutely.
Wow. Karen, thanks for the call. I appreciate that. I need some closing statements from the good doctor, Dr. Stephane Dunn. Talk to me.
Well, I just want to point out that this election season, both during the primary and now, is really dramatizing the ways in which we're sort of schizophrenic when it comes to trying to have conversations about gender and race that are progressive.
Yeah.
So we are really witnessing how much we don't know how to have those conversations in a way that is detached.
That's right. That's right.
Old tropes and stereotypes and etc.
That's right, Dr. Dunn. I got to shift to Dr. Muhammad. Final comments quickly.
Yes, we can't condemn people for profiling based on race and then go and condone people for profiling based on gender.
Yes, yes. Thanks to my guests, Dr. Dawn Muhammad and Dr. Stephane Dunn. Let's not lose sight that we are human beings who deserve the utmost respect. Although women can be discriminated against in overt and covert fashion, they must also not be given a pass when in a leadership capacity. That's Garrard McClendon live for tonight. Hey, always keep your head up and be encouraged.
Ask or ask, Donda's rules, Sue choose. McClendon Report